You guys both, you guys both covered a lot this last week. Giuliani and McCain both dropping out of Ames, and I wonder, this might get back to what you were talking about earlier, Jonathan, about the barriers breaking down and how everything's changed the landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, that has been an important milestone for the Republican nomination for 2 decades, and they're dropping out now. Is this just going to be a story that goes away and it's not covered later on once the event happens, or is this going to have legs?
Well, it's not going to have the influence that it has for decades. I mean, look, with 2 of the top 3 contenders in the race not playing in the thing, obviously it just does not have the same importance. But Iowa's still the first state, so these candidates are still going to have to get out there. They're still going to have to go to the Iowa State Fair. They're going to have to kiss the butter cow, eat the pork chop on a stick, and do sort of the same rituals. Now, are they going to have to spend millions of dollars playing in the Ames straw poll and bussing in thousands of supporters and hiring a band and giving out free barbecue? Well, no, they're not going to have to, but they still have to sort of work that state. They still have to have boots on the ground there.
Are they just really saying, I mean, come on, you're smart. Are they just saying, look, Mitt Romney has won. It's over. We're not willing to fight.
Well, that's the Romney sort of spin, absolutely, is that they were scared off, in effect. And the Romney campaign, had some internal numbers to sort of underscore that point, that they really had a solid lead in Iowa, and that the prospect of them winning the straw poll was going to be a foregone conclusion. The McCain and Giuliani folks would say it's a smart investment. Why are we going to spend millions of dollars on a one non-binding straw poll, even if it does have this history? So look, traditions were sort of built to last, and at times they change, and I think that it's just not going to have the same impact this time around.
So let me ask a prediction question here for you, Paul. Is New Hampshire going to jump ahead and be the first primary ahead of everybody?
It'll maintain that first primary status.
Ahead of Iowa, though?
No, I don't think. If you do that, you're basically talking about almost New Year's Eve weekend, and I just don't see that happening yet. I don't know. There has to be some sort of sanity to the whole process, and I mean, it's up to the national party committees to try and do something in all this, but I just can't believe that they would go that far into. I mean, once you get to saying the Tuesday after New Year's, what's to stop you from 2007? Why not, right. 2 weeks before Christmas?
Hey, Paul, I think one last question here. One of the issues that you cover that gets both, Democrats and Republicans in trouble is earmarks. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is how you think technology is going to help maybe add transparency to that process. I mean, you guys know how that process works. I know how it works because I've worked in Congress too, but a lot of people don't understand it. Right, a lot of people don't understand it. So how do you think earmarks and that sort of world, is it going to continue to be a problem for each party, or?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a problem, because every single corruption investigation of a member of Congress that we have endured for the last 2 years has inherently focused on earmarks, whether it's Jack Abramoff and getting Conrad Burns to secure $3 million for a Michigan tribe, or Jerry Lewis and tens of millions of dollars for defense contractors in Southern California.
Dukester.
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget Duke Cunningham. It's all about earmarks, all of those investigations, and it goes, on to both parties. Now, what does technology do for it? If the Democrats live up to their pledge and really do bring transparency to it, so that they say that, Congressman David All has sponsored this $10 million project for his hometown. If they're going to put those markers next to the bills, that's going to allow these guys to immediately sift through and create, really quick, easy-to-use databases. Right now, we're relying on people up at Taxpayers for Common Sense that have spent a guy like Keith Ashdown, who helped break the Duke Cunningham story, relying on him to sift through the paperwork and going through and to guess where the things are. If that has a marker next to it saying Congressman All, Senator Armstrong, then you've got a real instantaneous ability to say he sponsored this, and with the viral world, it can spread that quickly, and you'll know who put that legislation in.
Another group that's working on that is the Sunlight Foundation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Seems like they've done some really good work.
Sunlight Foundation has done great work in trying to out the person that's putting a hold on electronic filing of Senate campaign finance reports, and through their website and their readers, they've basically been saying, Call your senator and
Yeah.
find out whether or not he or she will on the record
Yeah.
commit that they're not the one putting the hold on. And they've narrowed it down to a couple of people, and of course holds can move from day to day.
That's actually a great point, Paul, that you mentioned. I'm not sure how many watchers out there of DomeNation know this, but in the Senate of the United States, campaign finance reports do not have to be filed online. In fact, they have to be filed old-fashioned on paper, and they are not available online. And so when you search as to who's given contributions to members of the House, it's very easy to find. You can go online, you can go to the FEC and find it fairly easily. It's different for the Senate because they still have this sort of old-fashioned way where you cannot easily search online. And that is exactly the kind of thing that I think bloggers got their teeth into.
It's starting.
Yeah.
It's starting.
Well, with that, DomeNation, there you go. A couple of key A-list reporters here. Again, we want to thank Paul Kane with WashingtonPost.com. Check out his blog, Capitol Briefing. And then also we want to Jonathan Martin with Politico.com, who has a blog on 08.
So remember, Nation.
It's your dome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.